Hello.
Hello, getting my camera. Give me just a second. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Awesome. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. My name is Jordan, by the way.
I'm Jade. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So these calls are typically group calls or just very informal question and answer type calls. However, nobody's on the call other than us right now. So I just wanted to warn you that there may be other people that like jump on that are interested in learning about our team. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So are you currently licensed?
Yes, I do have a license.
Cool. Are you using your license right now?
No, I'm still looking. I've been licensed a while, but I had twins that were born premature, so it didn't get to start off the way that I expected. So now they're almost 3, and I'm in a better place, and they are as well. So I think it's time for me to start. Like, I can take it serious. So,
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. My cousin had triplets that were like 2 months premature. So I know
oh
that
wow.
that can be a whole adventure. So that's exciting though that you're in a place where you're ready to get started. So are you so then you have not done anything in real estate yet. Is that right?
Well, I joined. I kind of started with Keller Williams, and then I ran into some issues and stuff. So I have a little bit of training and everything, but I have, as far as the transaction, no, I haven't.
Okay, no worries. So, so we are a apartment locating brokerage only. So that
Hmm.
means that we are non-MLS. So you don't
Yes.
have to join the board and you don't have to pay all of those additional fees. Um, so that's kind of like the first thing I like to tell people. Sometimes that's a deal breaker for people because they want to also be able to do residential, but our team is just apartment locating. And so are you familiar? And when I ask questions, there's no I'm only asking because I'm trying to figure out what I should and should not inform you about. So are you familiar
Okay.
with how apartment locating works?
A little bit.
Okay, so I'll share that then. So apartment locating, basically, we are like a referral office is like on paper, if you were to like look at what our office does, and this is any apartment locating company, we basically refer people to apartments. So somebody reaches out to me, hey, I'm looking for a 2 bedroom in Dallas, my budget's 1,500, whatever it is. I'm basically sending them apartment options that match that criteria. When that client applies, it'll ask on the application, how did you hear about us? They'll say, Jordan Hankins told me about you guys. And then when they move in, we as the apartment locating company, we invoice the property for blank amount of money for a referral. So it's very different than residential. We're not having to like write contracts. A lot of times you
Yes.
don't even, yeah, you don't have to, you don't you don't have to go with your client to in order to get credit, which I think a lot of people love about apartment locating. You can do it 100% remote, or I have some agents that they do go tour all of their clients, but the majority of apartment locators don't do that. They just kind of operate off of their cell phone and they're just talking to clients and setting up appointments for them all from home. So it is different than residential. We're more so just like referral sources. We know about apartments and we just send people over to the apartments. With that being said, with apartment locating, we do typically get paid like 30 to 90 days after a client moves in. That's pretty standard. Sometimes we can get paid quicker, sometimes it takes longer. For instance, like we may have a property that'll pay us 2 weeks after move in, or we may have a property that drags their feet for 5 months to pay us. So that is one of the things that's annoying about apartment locating is you don't really know when you're going to get paid. But but once you start going and you have a bunch of invoices coming in and you've worked with a lot of clients, you could be getting checks several times a week. So it is one of those things that with apartment locating that you have to just kind of be aware when you get into it. Like it is a build up process to where you are helping clients, and then probably by month 3, 4, 5, 6, you'll start having checks that are coming in pretty consistently. So that is something that's special about apartment locating, whereas residential, you get paid when like the house closes. So that
Closes.
is
Yes.
different. But apartment locating is great because most people move every single year, whereas
Hmm.
with houses, people typically buy every 5 to
Five
10.
to 7.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so you're like having to constantly like try to find new business. So Apartment locating is really great. I've been running real estate companies for the last 10 years. I've had residential agents and also apartment locating agents. And a lot of times the locators are making just as much, if not more, than the residential agents because there's a lot
Oh
more that
wow.
goes into like residential. I mean, I'm sure if you went through Keller Williams' training, you know that like there's 5 to 7 ways that a deal can fall through with a house.
Yes.
And so a lot of times it's like there's stuff that happens or um yeah, I mean, or it could just overall be a much longer process to help somebody find a house. Like I know when I worked with buyers and even sellers, sometimes it took 6 months to find them a
Or
property.
longer.
Yeah, or to sell them a property or sell their property. So apartment locating is like I would say the biggest drawback is like we don't know when we're going to get paid, but it's once you get going and you have like 30, 40, $50,000 outstanding, like you're getting checks consistently. And also once you get going and you establish yourself, you could be working with 50 clients at one time and you wouldn't be able to do that with residential because there's just no way you could show 50 people in one weekend. But with apartments, because you don't have to go tour with them, you could have like 20 people going to
Mhm.
go look at
Sign
apartments.
them. Sign
Yeah.
them up to
So
go do.
yeah, so it's like apartment locating is different. It has its pros and cons, and same thing with residential. I personally have just always gone back to apartment locating because I enjoy that I can help people all over the state of Texas. Like I can be living in Austin and helping people move in Houston and vice versa. Where with residential, you're really only helping people in your immediate area because you're not
Hmm.
going to drive 2 hours to go show a house.
To show house. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, so there's definitely its pros and cons, but I just love the flexibility and the time freedom that apartment locating offers. Also, if you ever dabble in residential, you'll understand that like sometimes you could be writing a contract at 10 o'clock on a Friday night because you have to get a contract in. But with apartments, your clients can apply 24 hours a day online on the apartment's website. There's not anything that you have to do. And also the offices are only open between 9 to 6 typically.
Hmm.
So there's not really scenarios where you're going to get a client calling you at 10 p.m. saying, hey, I need you to do this right now or else the deal's going to fall through. So I really like
Yeah,
that about apartments too, that there's kind of like
you
set
know when you're gonna
hours.
be working. Yeah,
Yeah. Whereas like residential, you literally, somebody could text you
all
at
day, every
4 a.m.
day.
Yeah, and they could be like, "Hey, I need you to show me a house at 7 a.m." and it's, 3 in the morning. So there's a lot of things that obviously I love about apartment locating compared to residential. So, um, with apartment locating, we typically get paid anywhere from like 50% of 1 month's rent to like some properties are paying 2 months rent commission. I would say like the average is 75 to 100% of 1 month rent. So if
Oh,
you like, I think our average commission check agents are making like $1,600 is what the commission check is. But I mean, I've gotten commission checks for $7,300 for an apartment. So it really kind of just depends, but there's systems that we can see as locators to figure out like what apartments pay which commissions. So I was, do you have any questions about apartment locating before I dive into like our team?
no, ma'am.
No? Okay, cool. So,
I do have one question. I'm sorry. So since you don't use MLS, you said you have systems and stuff that you use to locate, correct?
yes.
Could you
So
tell me a little bit about that?
yeah, so like the majority of people use smart apartment data, which is the system here. This is something that you would sign up for with pretty much any brokerage that you join. And so this system, on this specific screen, you can kind of see like this is our invoicing screen. So you can see the different checks that are coming in and you can see like when somebody moved in, when we invoiced, and then when we got paid. Let me show you up here. So you can see like move in, invoiced, paid. So you kind of have a general idea. Like some properties will literally pay us within 2 weeks, and then
Hmm.
sometimes they pay us within 4 months. It really kind of just depends. But
Okay.
we use smart apartment data, and pretty much any agents that you talk to is going to say they use this system because it's the best. It's not perfect, but it is like the best system. There are other systems out there that are free or that are cheaper than this system. But this one is definitely the preferred one. Are you in our Facebook group?
No.
No? Okay. So let me show you. So this Facebook group, I highly recommend joining. It's a group I started in 2019. So there is 4,000 members on it, and they're primarily all apartment locators. But this is just a really great resource that if you like people will post, hey, I have a client with a felony, what do I do? Or hey, what system do you guys use for invoicing? Like this is just a resource for apartment locators. And so in this group, you'll often see questions about like, what system do you guys use for locating? And you'll see people always say, I'm using Smart, even though Smart sometimes isn't awesome, it's still the best. But this system, it operates kind of like the MLS for apartments. So you can put in the price range, you can put in the area that your client's looking at, and there's also like a lot of different features. If somebody needs a washer and dryer or anything like that, you can search with that, and then it will provide you with a list of apartment communities.
So for the fees for this, would it be similar to like monthly fee or quarterly fees for MLS?
So it just depends. So like this system, you can either pay for it month to month or you can pay for it annually. Month to month is more expensive than if you pay it all up front for the year. And then also it depends on like how many markets you get. So for me, I have all of the markets in Texas because I help people all over the state. So like
Mhm.
Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, like all of the different markets. I think I
Mhm.
pay 170 a month for this, but I also pay month to month. If I were to pay annually, it would be cheaper. And also, I think if you pay for just one market, I want to say it's $60 a month on the month to month, and I think it's like $50 a month if you pay for it all up front. It just kind of depends on like what you do personally. So this system will show you all of the different commission structures for all the different buildings, and you can also like build out list of apartments that you want to send your client, and it will show you over here like what the commission structures are. I just was looking yesterday in Austin, and there's like a whole bunch of properties that pay 2 months rent as the commission. But this system is just like what everybody uses. You can see like the move-in specials. A lot of times, you can see the different floor plans. It just breaks down everything. So there are other systems like Spark or MRI is one, or I think there's one called Apartment Data that's free, but it's just this system is the best and it's the most efficient, and that's why pretty much everybody uses it. Um, and definitely I would suggest going and joining this Facebook group because it's just, even if you don't join our team, this is a really great resource just to like learn about
The
locating.
official form support group moving specials. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
join it now.
Cool. And okay, so did you have a chance to look at this website that I sent on the email? If not, it's okay.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. So, um, this kind of breaks down everything about our team. This talks about my background. So I started off as a leasing agent, I think like 13 years ago. And then I started the first apartment locating company I started was about 10 years ago. So I've been doing this a long time. And I've been doing this full time for this whole time for the last 10 years. So this
Oh
is definitely,
wow.
yeah, this is a career you can do. A lot of our agents are full time, but we do also have part time agents too. So um, on this link though, there's a bunch of different things. So like I've linked some of our training calls if you just want to get a feel for like our team or my training style. I have the Facebook community linked. So it sounds like you want to join that already. We have testimonials from our agents about our training program. Our training, though, we host on this platform called School, And so it's kind of like Facebook, like everybody can make, or everybody has their own profile and you can comment on the threads here, but primarily it's used because we have a bunch of training videos on here and a bunch of resources. So each of these folders here has tons of training videos. There's probably 70 training videos on lots of different subjects, from lead generation to building a brand to overcoming obstacles. All of this stuff is apartment locating based. I know that you probably went through training at Keller Williams, but apartment locating is kind of a different animal because it's different than residential. And so we have a bunch of training about that. We also provide social media content. So a lot of apartment locators get their clients from Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. So we provide a bunch of social media content for lots of different buildings throughout Texas. So each building has little clips that you can download and then use them on, say, TikTok or Instagram videos like this, to where you can try to get clients. So this is something, a benefit of our team, that you don't really have to even, like, you can, everything we provide, you should be able to do this entire business from your house. So a lot of our agents go out and get their own social media content, but we also provide, as you can see, I mean, we provide tons of content for Austin, Houston, Dallas. We still need to get content for San Antonio, but we provide a lot. And the majority of our agents do help people and they market to people all over the state. So that is up to you, whatever you want to do. But our training platform has the social media content, it has the training videos. We also have we have all of our live calls. So we do live calls every other Tuesday. So if you can't make them, I've just put them in here with all of the AI notes about what we talked about. But you can go back and like watch the training. This training platform just hosts everything. We have locator scripts. So a lot of agents are brand new and they're like, hey, I don't know what it even looks like to talk to a client. And so we have just video clips where you can see how we talk to somebody and the process, like all the way through them leasing. That's on here. We have guest speakers, we have workbooks. We have 2 different training workbooks that talk about just like getting started. So if you're somebody who's more of like a reader instead of a video watcher, we also have that too. And then also on our YouTube channel, this is another great resource. Again, whether you join our team or not, we have a bunch of training videos on here too. These are just like hand-picked videos that come from our training platform. They're obviously not all of the training videos, but there are a few training videos on here that if you want to get a feel for just, again, how I teach, and then also our team calls, like how those typically go, there's a couple of videos in here. But also, you can see that on this platform, we also have our links to our live calls. So I make myself available every Tuesday at noon, but we have more of a structured training call every other Tuesday, but I am available to our agents. The other thing I wanted to show you is we are a virtual team, so we don't have an office, but we have an extremely active group chat, which is here, and it's through WhatsApp. So agents are talking in it all day, every day. And so even though we don't have an office, you're still connected to your team. So if you have a question about something, this is a really great resource. And our team is really big about community and really big about helping one another. I know a lot of offices, real estate offices, can feel extremely competitive, and a lot of people like gatekeep and they don't want to tell you what they're doing. That's not how our team is at all. We're quite the opposite. So the WhatsApp group is just like an awesome resource too. What else? We talked about this system. We also do invoicing for the agent. So as I mentioned, getting paid is like the most annoying part about locating, but we handle all the invoicing. So like once you have a client that applies, you put your client invoice into your system that's like this, and then you transfer it. There's a button to like transfer it to our main account, and then it will show up over here like this agent has this client, and then whenever your client moves in, we go ahead and start doing the collection process for you. So we try to make it to where our agents, like all they have to do is focus on marketing and lead generation and then helping the clients. So we handle going and getting social media content for you. We handle doing your invoicing. Like we try to do all that stuff. So that's like another benefit of this thing, this system. But I will say I have maybe 2 agents that haven't signed up for this system yet because, you know, it does cost money, and obviously getting into real estate, it's expensive. So I have like maybe 2 agents that haven't signed up for this yet, but they plan to. Like they've both said, when I get my first check, I'm going to sign up for it. So you don't have to have this immediately, but it's obviously just a really good system to have and to use. Um, we also have partnered with, we have a utility concierge that we partner with. And so this is another way for agents to make money with our team. So if you have a client that applies and moves in somewhere, you can send them to our utility concierge, and the utility concierge will set up their electricity, their internet, their cable, their renter's insurance. And it's a free service to the client, but you get paid a referral fee for like sending your client to them. And the referral fees get paid by the utility concierge every Friday. If your client, like say your client set up electricity, you'll get a Zelle, I think they send through Zelle on Friday for like that client sign up. So this is like another way for you to make money in the industry aside from just the apartment commission. And then we're working on a partnership with a moving company too right now that hopefully will be solidified in the next couple of weeks. So then you'll also be able to make money off of like your clients' movers too. So I'm really big about trying to provide resources, not just through training, but also for agents to like make extra money, because since we don't know exactly when we're going to get paid with the locating clients, it's nice to just have like other income streams.
Sources. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so you join the Facebook group, and then I think the only other thing, so with our structure, we're on an 80-20 split. If you do decide to take a company lead, which we don't always have company leads, but we do have quite a bit of company leads. If you decide to take one and it's optional, that's a 50-50 split. But I do like to tell agents that we give company leads out to agents that have completed our training, agents that come to our live trainings, and also agents that are closing their own deals too, because we want to make sure that anybody that we're sending business to, that they actually know how to close a client. So although we do have company leads, I like to tell incoming agents, don't join our team with the idea that you just sign up and don't have to do anything. Like we're not a company that just like pumps out leads to every single agent, because we want to make sure that our leads are getting taken care of by agents that know what they're doing. So I just like to preface that I don't ever like to recruit people and like not be 100% honest, because there's a lot of brokerages that will say, oh, join our team, we're going to give you 20 leads a day.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't tell you that those leads maybe all have felonies or they all have broken leases. So yes, they give
Junk leads.
Yeah. So I'm just a very transparent person, and I don't like to like sell something that's not real. So we do have leads. However, just understand that if you join our team, all of our training and mentorship and coaching is so that you can go out and build your own pipeline and your own business. And I just think that that's beneficial for you as an agent. So that way, if you do ever decide to like start your own company, or say you need to go to a different brokerage because you're going to sell houses or whatever the reason is, you've built out your business as opposed to just like leaning on us as a crutch for leads, if that makes sense. So we talked about how as far as getting paid. So we pay as soon as the check clears on our end, we'll pay you like the next or the same day that the check clears, which typically the checks clear the following day. But it's typically 30 to 90 days after a client moves in. As far as selling homes, we are non-MLS, but that doesn't mean that you can't collect a referral fee. So if you have a client Or if you have somebody that reaches out, hey, I want to sell my house in Houston, you can find a Houston real estate agent, refer that business to them, and collect a referral fee, which is typically 25%. Obviously, we provide a ton of training. You can have your own website if you want. Honestly, one person from our team has their own website. But you can if you want. You just have to make sure that you have all of the marketing guidelines from Trek on your website. As far as a CRM, so we don't currently provide a CRM. I actually am, that's what I'm doing today and Monday, is trying to possibly bring a CRM with our team, for our team. So that might change in the future. However, smart apartment data does have its own built-in CRM. So like these are, as I mentioned, I've been doing this for like 10 years. So all of my clients are in here. And this system does act as a CRM where you can put the
Their
note.
information and everything.
Yeah. And you can even like, the system's kind of cool because if the client's name has like red next to it, um, you can see that this client actually was like registered with another locator at some point in time. So this system's kind of cool too. So even though we don't provide a CRM, you can use this system as a CRM, and pretty much all of our agents use the system. But there are free CRMs like HubSpot and other things like that if you just want to sign up for that. But eventually we may offer that. We do ask that you guys do at least one lease a month. But that's after your 90-day sign-on period, because it does take time to kind of like get going. And even if you start working with clients, say your first week of joining with us, sometimes your client may not sign for 30 days or 2 months. They may be like spending some time looking for apartments. But we do ask that agents at least do one lease a month, but I'm not super strict on it. Like if you don't get a lease, you're not going to get kicked off the team. That's just ideally. And as far as how much locators make, it just depends. I have some agents that are doing 9 to 15 leases a month, and then I have some agents that do like one lease a month. So it really just depends on you. But as you could kind of see on our invoicing, what we have invoiced right now, I mean, I would say on average, the leases are like $1,500 a month. But again, you could have a $3,000 check or you could have a $500 check. It just kind of depends on the property. Um, yeah, I think that's it. So as far as our team, we're on an 80-20 split, 50-50 split for company leads if you take them. We do have a $99 monthly fee, which covers the invoicing, the social media, and then the ongoing training that we do. And then we also do have a one-time sign-on fee, which is $149, and that covers all of our training videos and the social media content that's currently in there and all the scripts and all of that. So really like the main fees that you need to think about or worry about is just the one-time sign-on fee of $149 and then the $99 a month. You can join Smart Apartment Data when and if you want to. But again, you don't have to sign up immediately, and maybe you don't sign up at all. Maybe you find another system that you like. But I would say the majority of our agents are signed up on it because this is where we're currently doing invoicing. But
Okay, so I do have a question about that. So you said you currently have an agent that isn't using the smart data. So how are they finding this information? Just other sites, or just
I
per se, if I didn't use it to get started and eventually did purchase it?
Yeah, so I don't know what that agent's doing. They may just be Googling apartments and say their clients looking in downtown Houston. They may just be Googling apartments and then calling the apartments and saying, hey, do you work with locators? How much do you pay? Which obviously that's like a lot of manual work. They may be doing that, or I think apartment data is a free one. I know that in one of like this workbook, I made this workbook like 5 years ago, but there is a free system, and I know that it's mentioned somewhere in here. I just can't for the life of me remember what it's called. But there's other ones like Spark. I think Spark might be $35 a month, maybe. There's one called MRI. Like there's other systems out there. So I don't know if that specific agent, if they signed up with like the one free system or if they're just using Google, or I don't know what they're doing specifically, but That's kind of up to you. I will say, like, right now, because we are doing our invoicing through the system, I really, really want all of our agents on the system, at least when they start getting invoices in. But that's not to say, though, that in a month I could decide to start doing invoicing through another system that's cheaper than this. So that's also why I'm month to month on this system, because I really am using the system because I like its invoicing. So it's just kind of up to you what you want to do. I know that kind of answered your question. That was a lot of additional information, but
So you said that you're on it basically month to month. So is it one of those things where you could just stop the subscription whenever, or is it like okay.
yeah, yeah. So that's why I pay for it month to month. It's more expensive to do it like that, but you never know. Like, there's other systems out there. There's another system called Spark, which, like, they don't have as much data as this system. So they may, for instance, say this system has 5,000 apartments on here. Spark, I don't think, has all of the apartments in Texas. So I think that's another reason why a lot of agents use this, because they want to make sure when they send a list to a client that they're including all of the apartments that match that client's criteria. So I pay for this monthly because I'm hoping that eventually there will be another system that's cheaper, that's better. But so far that hasn't happened yet. So again, you can do whatever you want to do. I think the system does do a free trial. At least they used to do 2 weeks free when you first
Mhm.
get started. So, I mean, you could always try the system out. And then if you're like, no, I don't, I'll hold off on signing up for it, and you want to sign up for another one, you can. Or, like I said, you don't have to use these systems. I mean, you could technically do everything manually. It's just you're not going to be able to send a professional looking list to your clients. The system will also show you, like, if your client opened the list, which is helpful if, like, a client ghosts you and stops responding. You can see, like, oh, well, they're opening it, and then you can go through and, like, disable this list so they can't look at it anymore. So this system's great. Like, it does a lot of great stuff, but you definitely don't have to use this system. Right. Yeah. Did you have any other questions about anything that I could answer for you?
Um,
I know it's a lot.
it's okay. So as far as like initial training, I know you said you guys offer training. Like for example, when I went through Keller Williams, it was like 2 weeks of initial training. Is there something like that, or is it kind of go at at your own pace and just complete the training that's in the school?
Yeah, it's just go at your own pace.
Okay.
Yeah. And I I tell agents, like, don't feel like you need to watch all of these training videos before you get started, because I encourage agents, like, just get started somewhere and just watch these videos as you go. Because you're never going to know everything. Obviously with residential, it's a little bit different because you want to be familiar with, like,
The,
contracts and all of that. But apartment locating is so different. It's anyone can help somebody find an apartment. There's tons of people who are unlicensed that help friends and family find apartments. It's just our training content is more so about, like, strategy. If your client has ghosted you, like, how do you get them back? Or if you are trying to build a business on social media, like, what do you need to do to get the client from seeing you on Instagram to closing? And then this specific folder here, this is just like the basics. So even if you were to start, I would just say, hey, watch these handful of videos. There's not that many, and this should get you enough information that you can at least, like, get going, and then you can worry about looking at all of this stuff as you go.
I do have one more question. So kind of like with residential, you have like a client agreement. Do you do something like that with leases, or is it just kind of like
Um, it's kind
that
of
says that you're
a
working with them?
Yeah, it's a great area. Like, I would say 95%, no, probably 99% of locators don't do any agreement at all. That's another thing, like, you can see in this Facebook group. I think somebody posted about that like a couple of weeks ago, and the majority of people do not do anything because we're really like a referral source. We're really a referral source. Now, Trek, that's kind of a gray area. Like, if you were to call Trek and ask their legal department, what do I need to do? They're going to give you some gray answer about, well, you're technically helping them, and they're never really black and white about those types of things, but I will say 99% of agents don't do anything. But I will say on like on Instagram and or on social media, you should have your IABS form somewhere on your social media platforms. And then also in like your email signatures, it's also on there too. So you're kind of technically providing that information to your client because it's on everything that you're corresponding, but we don't have anybody sign anything because it's really not something that can be like enforced anyways. Apartment locating is kind of a, I don't want to say a gamble, but you could help a client and they could decide, oh, well, I found this other apartment on this other real estate agent's Instagram page, and so I listed them. That doesn't happen too often, but it could happen, which is why we're really big in our training about teaching strategy to make sure that you keep your clients.
Okay.
Well, so let me actually give you my phone number. So if you do decide that you want to join our team, you can just send me a text message and I can send you the link to sign up.
Okay.
Also, if for some reason you decide that our team's not for you, you can also just join our training program. That's the school program. And you can pay for that. I think it's $450 a year, but that is something that some agents choose to do because they're like, hey, I still want to do residential, and they just join our training program, and you get all the training videos, and you get the live training every other week, and the social media content. You can do that too if you want.
Okay. I saved that number. I'm
Cool.
thinking about it. I mean, I think it might be a little bit just the way you described it and the flexibility that I have. Sorry, I'm off track. So you said you have full-time and part-time agents. Does that work any different, or do you have different expectations from a full-time agent than a part-time agent or anything?
No, it's just I'm not I don't micromanage at all. It's just
Okay.
people do what they want to do. If they want to do one lease once a month or once every other month, that's kind of on them. I obviously, to me, I'm like, you're paying for your locator database, you're paying monthly to the brokerage. Like, I would encourage people to like want to do more if they are part-time, but it's just up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I am thinking about it. I think that, with the flexibility and, it's kind of a little bit less expensive than going residential. I think I might want to, join this way and then eventually maybe go into residential. So I am very interested. That is one of the things that, made me want to get on this interest meeting and just trying to find out some information.
Yeah. And it's one of those things. A lot of people start off in apartment locating and then by say 6 months in or a year in, they start transitioning all of their renters. Like they'll send them like emails about this is how much money you need for a down payment. Like they start like nurturing those people to become home buyers. But then there's also like you can get on our Facebook group and there's a lot of times people will talk about I've been doing apartment locating for 50 years. Like people just love locating because you can do it. It's just so much more hands off, I would say. So it's just whatever works for you. We did a call I would say on Tuesday, it's the most recent call. I think it's called like on our YouTube, it says like hidden secrets of apartment locating. There's a lot of people that talk about how they just like genuinely like apartment locating for all of these different reasons. Like maybe they like have children that stay at home and they don't have childcare. Like there's just lots of different reasons why people like locating, or you can eventually just set it up to where in the end goal that you're going to sell homes. So definitely a great place to start. People typically it's easier to get clients too that like if you don't even know this person at all, they much rather trust you to help them find a rental than helping them buy a house. So it's kind of good to like get yourself in and start building a client database too.
Okay. Um, as far as finding clients for like apartments and stuff, is most of the work done on like social media, or what do you see most of?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different ways, and we talk a lot about that in our training videos. But I would say a lot of people using social media or like Facebook Marketplace, or I have one agent that uses I think Reddit, I mean, or like Nextdoor. There's so many different ways that you can meet people. Or you may be somebody that just happens, like maybe you were a part of a sorority and you just use that network. There's so many different ways that you can utilize whatever you have or whatever you don't have. I've one of my top agents ever that I like trained, she actually owns her own brokerage now, but she was from out of the area. Like she was brand new in Dallas, didn't know anybody, and she just spent her first 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks just going and like networking and meeting leasing agents, and the leasing agents were sending her business. So there's a lot of different ways that you can find clients. It just kind of depends on like what you have to work with, and then also what you feel comfortable and what your strengths and weaknesses are, because all of our networks are different, you know. So what I try to do is just like give agents a lot of ideas, and then they can kind of figure out what feels good to them or what they have access to try to start building their own business.
Okay. As far as like business cards, or do you guys do anything of those for new agents, or getting started, or website and like email?
So we don't, because from what I found, what I try to teach our agents, like, again, this may not be the most business savvy like opinion for me, but to me, if you're an agent and you have an email with us, if you leave us ever, you're going to lose all of your contacts and everybody's going to lose that email. So I always encourage agents, like, have your own emails. As far as business cards go, we don't do business cards because most people, like, again, I teach agents, like, most people lose business cards. If you hand a business card to somebody, they're probably putting it in their pocket or in their purse and they're throwing it away like later that day. So I always tell agents, like on our training, do digital business cards, or like have them add you on social media so they constantly are like in front of you, or they see you every day when you're posting online. There's lots of different strategies. So we don't do that. Um, as far as websites, we can do a landing page for you if you want. That's a very simple, easy thing for us to do. If you just want a link that's more professional for yourself, we can do that. But we don't do like any like actual build out of a website, because again, in order for websites to even matter, you have to put a lot of money back into SEO, and most agents don't do that. So we kind of train agents how to do everything like free and bare minimum, so that, you know, whenever they're getting started, they're not throwing out a whole bunch of money, because that's what a lot of people will tell you. Oh, you need to spend all this money getting started before you
And that's
even
why I was
make
asking
any.
most of those questions.
Yeah, like don't. I'm a big believer, like, you don't need to go get headshots, business cards, like flyers. Just get everything started the most free way as possible. And then once your business grows, and you can start figuring out, okay, well, I would really like to have blank, blank, blank. So we kind of just teach agents how to do everything from ground zero, and then whatever else they want in the future. Like I have one agent, I think they have their own website, but they, I think, are at a place where they're like putting money with SEO, and they like the website matters. But if you just have a website and you're not putting any money towards advertising with it, the website's kind of just like floating off into space. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either
But
way.
I can definitely, the, it should email you the notes to this call, because it'll show that you were on this call. So it should send you all the AI notes from this call. And then if you have any other questions, you can text me. And if you do want to get started, we can get you signed up within like 20 minutes. It's very simple and easy. Is your license active right now, or is it inactive?
It's inactive.
Okay. Do you have to do any type of classes or anything to get
No,
it?
I'm all caught up on training and stuff.
Cool. Yeah, well, if you do want to get started, it can happen very, very quickly. Just send me a text and I'll send you over all the links.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course. I hope to hear from you soon. And definitely, you said you joined the Facebook group.
No, I took a picture of it so I can go and I'll
Oh,
just go back and join it.
cool. Yeah, definitely join that. And I'm here as a resource if you have any other questions, and hopefully we'll connect soon.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.